What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod back with another video. And today at first I was gonna pre-record this video because I know people love my videos because I get straight to the point and I try to make things as condensed as possible. But today I figured I have a lot of really good tips for you guys, and I have a lot of things to kind of expound on. So I figured I might as well just go live. That way it can be more of like a free-flowing conversation and I can interact with you guys and just kind of answer any questions you guys may have while I'm kind of going through my list of 10 things. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things I think every, aspiring entrepreneur should do before you quit your job. Now, the reason for this video and the concept came because yesterday I dropped a video on what sold for me on Poshmark over the weekend. And anytime I do those weekend sales, I'm always talking about sales that happen from that Friday to Sunday. So that yesterday I ended up taking, at the end of the day, I ended up taking about like 34 packages to the post office, which was crazy. I don't usually take that many packages to the post office. On Mondays, it's usually pretty busy because of course it's the weekend. So it's a bunch of sales that come in. But I was just working really hard this weekend. I've been working really hard basically all year long. And to be 100%, I've been putting in the work. I've been preparing for this back to school time and just preparing for the fourth quarter in general. So these orders are starting to come in. So I'm definitely glad that orders are coming in. But I got a lot of people saying that, I inspired them just by dropping that short message on talking about how I ended up quitting my job and what inspired me to do that. And I just wanted to give you guys some more information on just some tips before you actually go ahead and quit your job, because I don't want people to think that I basically just quit my job, started selling on Poshmark, and now my life is just great and I'm taking dozens of stuff to the post office every day. That's definitely not the case. So I just wanted to, try to keep real with you guys. So let me see if there's anybody in the chat. If there any question you guys may have, drop that in the comment section. And like I said, I'll try to interact with you guys as much as possible as I'm going through this list. Let's see who we actually have in the chat right now. Beatology, we got For Real Girl, my girl Dami. What's good? Everybody's in here. All right, y'all. So to start things off, the number one thing for me when it came down to quitting my job was to literally just to save money. I know it's one of those things that people talk about all the time, but very specifically in terms of saving money, I saved about 6 months worth of rent and just overall bills, like overall expenses before I quit my job, because I didn't want to put this tremendous number in front of me because that would have felt too overwhelming. And as you guys know, life comes up, things happen, emergencies happen. So I didn't want to basically make that goal too big to the point where I'll never get to it. So some people say save up a year, some people say 2 years, all of these crazy things. But for me, I gave myself 6 months. I figured within that 6 month time frame, I should have enough funds in order to start my business and at least see some type of return, just enough to keep my bills in order. And that was one of the most important things I did, because not only did that money give me peace of mind in order to really focus on the business and really hone in on that, but it also just let me know that it gave me a goal. So while I was working at that job, while I was working in higher education, it wasn't necessarily waiting for a specific day to quit. I was really just thinking to myself, okay, once I hit this number or just close to it, I knew for a fact, okay, this is going to be my last day. And when it was time to give in my 2 weeks, I didn't second guess it. I didn't have any doubts, because I knew I was going to be financially, secure for at least 6 months. And not only that, but like I said, some people would give you guys advice and say save money for a year. The reason why I say save money for 6 months is because, yes, it gives you somewhat of a cushion, but it also makes sure that your back is somewhat against the wall. So you're not just quitting your job and now you're going to be sitting on your ass at home all day. You're going to be constantly thinking you only have 6 months. And then it quickly turns into 3 months. Then before you know it, if you haven't been doing what you needed to do in order to get to the goal that you have, whether that's starting a business or starting a whole new career, whatever it might be, if you don't take advantage of those first few months, then you might find yourself having to go back into a part-time job or just trying to do little odd things just to, survive. So that's definitely something super important that I wanted to share with you guys. So next thing on my list was to educate yourself / invest in yourself. Now, educating myself when it came to reselling was huge, because once I started selling on eBay, uh, a lot of people don't know this, but I did start selling on eBay. eBay was the first platform. Then I went on to Poshmark, and with eBay, I watched a lot of videos. I watched a lot of other people's reselling videos, and because the thing with the reselling community, everybody's trying to help each other, give tips, and just try to help people prevent making the same mistakes that they did. So that's basically what I did. I really just was like a sponge, and I soaked up a ton of information before I actually, really started going full throttle with selling things on eBay. But I realized that I knew so much information that once I started selling on eBay, I started, it was almost like I had like a springboard, and I started ahead of the curve, and I was doing really well within my first few months. Comparatively, I'm not to say I was making a ton of money, but I was at least making enough money to pay my bills, pay my rent. I wasn't in any credit card debt or anything like that. I was literally making just enough money to basically just fund the business and to keep moving. And I think that's something super important that I don't hear enough people talk about. When you first start out, just like I was telling you guys yesterday, when it comes to selling things online, when you first start out, things aren't going to be booming. You're not going to be making a ton of sales within those first few weeks, those first few months, that first year might be super slow for you. And it's basically the same thing in whatever it is that you might be doing. I'm just talking about reselling because that's what I do. But whatever business you start, even if it's real estate or whatever, those first few months it might be very slow. So for me, I was really just trying to take those small victories month by month. If I made enough money to pay the rent, pay for groceries, pay for gas in my car, all of those things, those were small victories that just kept me motivated. And now that I'm looking back at it now, as I'm approaching like becoming like the six-figure seller, as everybody likes to say, I remember those days when I was just staying up late because I was nervous. Like, I don't know if I'll make enough money this month. Let me make sure I go to the thrift store and try to find some stuff to sell. Let me make sure I hit all of these garage sales in my area so I can find stuff to sell. And that's where I guess my work ethic comes from. People say all the time, I find some crazy stuff during my trip to the thrift videos. And that comes from just remembering those days when I wasn't making a lot of money, when I wasn't making sales, and just remembering that feeling of, practically being broke, but being so stubborn that I didn't want to just go back to a regular job. I figured that once I quit that job, I had to make this entrepreneurship lifestyle work, whether that was reselling or whether that was starting a new career or whatever it might have been. I just knew I wasn't going to go take a step back. So that's super important as well. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat. Let's see. We got Candy. I want to quit my job. I'm working hard on eBay, but I keep running into dry spells. So frustrated. And that's the thing. You're gonna get a lot of dry spells with eBay. It's like a roller coaster. There's so many ups and downs depending on the season, depending on what you're selling. And it's one of those things where the longer you do it, the longer you stay in the business, the more you would tend to realize different trends. You learn when are the slow times. You literally just learn when to put money aside because sales will be slower, and you just develop different business tactics to kind of help you progress along the way. So just learn from these dry spells. You know what I mean? You might need to start sourcing differently, start sourcing different items, more items. Oftentimes, it's a caveat to this, but oftentimes when I realize that I'm having slow sales, I realize that I might not have enough inventory to garner enough traction. So I might go out and spend more money in order to get more inventory, and hopefully that will increase sales just by me, kind of putting that energy out there, putting more listings out there, putting more inventory out. And that might help boost some more traffic. And I might list 20 new things that I just purchased, and then a bunch of old stuff that I had months ago. Those are the things that start to sell. Who knows why that is? It might be a coincidence, but that's really how things have been for me. So I'm just speaking from experience. Let's see who else is in the chat. Jody Matoma videos. Oh snap! What's your average ROI on 100K? My average return is like 65%. Like, it's those of you that watching my trip to the thrift videos, what you guys see for the most part, I always show you guys the brands that sell relatively quickly for me. But my what is it? My average sale is like it on eBay is closer to $40, And I'm always, if I spend $5 to $6 on an item, I'm always at least tripling my money. So just think about that, to the fact where I go thrifting every single day. Like, I work hard to get to a certain level, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's see who else is in the chat. I have tried Macari, made one sale on my first day. I don't even try Macari. I've bought things on Macari, but I don't have experience on there. My sales have started to slowly pick up, but this summer has been rough. Yes, that's a very important thing, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well, in terms of like summertime being slow. Like I said before, when it comes to noticing trends, last year I realized that summertime is a very big slowdown period for retail across the board. Walmart, Amazon, everybody experiences it within their own, aspect. Of course, they're still making millions and billions probably during the summer, but all across the board, people are not shopping like they usually do. So for the smaller businesses like ourselves, what we need to do is make sure that, one, we're saving money. When money is good, and sales are flowing, and you're able to make some money during fourth quarter or first quarter for that matter, you have to think ahead. You have to know that, almost like a groundhog, you have to know that, in a few months things might slow down. So let me not spend all my money right away. And at the end of my videos, I always have this one saying, the marathon continues. That comes from Nipsey Hussle. And that's literally just the mindset that I have to always remind myself, because I like nice things. I like nice clothes. I like expensive stuff. And sometimes I might have a great month and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm about to go buy a Tesla. I'm about to go buy this. And then I say to myself, you know what? Slow down, take your time. You got years before you can start doing that. But really just see this through, and grow your business slowly, grow it the right way. And it's just literally just that marathon mindset. This is not a sprint. It's not like a race to see if I can get to $1 million by next week. If I hit 1 million or 10 million or 30 million or 1 billion, if I get there, I'm good. It's not a race to get to that level of success that I think everybody's kind of chasing for. So that's always something to keep in mind. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Someone says, I have to scroll up just a little bit because I was kind of ranting a little bit. Do you get a lot of returns on eBay? That's what I'm scared of. Scammers. No, I don't get a lot of returns. Anytime I get a return on eBay, it's usually because the item didn't fit. And because of that, most people would say, just don't offer returns on eBay. But for me, if I'm a buyer, I don't want to buy something from somebody knowing that I can't return it. So the whole thing about offering returns and accepting returns is just that customer service aspect of it, where you're basically just letting somebody know you can buy with confidence. If it doesn't fit, if you change your mind, you can return it. But for whatever reason, if you don't like it or whatever that is, you still have to pay for the return shipping. That's a big thing that I think a lot of people need to remember. I offer returns, but I don't offer free returns. If it doesn't fit you and I included measurements in my listing, you gotta pay for return shipping. So that's super big as well. I'm gonna just go back to my list really quickly because I want everybody that's joining me live in the chat I want to get everybody's questions, but I do want to make sure I go through this list as well. Another big tip that I got for you guys, and this is relatively new. This is something that I even had to do recently, and this is to up your credit line or improve your credit. And I think this is super important, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about this because for me, starting a business, of course, if you're starting a brand new business from scratch, your chances of you going to a bank and getting a business loan is very slim. You know what I mean? You don't have experience with selling things, so a bank isn't going to give you money. If you go to your friends and family, if they got money and they're cool like that, they might give you a loan and it might be all good. But for me, I know I didn't have any of those options, so I just had to use my own money. And one thing that I was doing in the beginning, I was doing a lot of cash because I was getting a lot of stuff from garage sales and flea markets and stuff like that. But once you start to, I guess you can call it scale, and you start to buy more items at a time, where you're spending maybe say $1,000 in a day because you're shopping at different stores for inventory, you don't want to use cash for that type of stuff. You definitely want to use a credit card, one, just to protect yourself financially, because you don't want to walk around with a bunch of cash. And two, you always get rewards by spending that type of money. And three, when you're using your credit card and stuff like that, you're actually going to be doing yourself a favor for the future just by building up your credit and stuff like that. So one thing what I'm saying now is to, if you can, if your credit is bad, before you quit your job, you should try your best to do what you can to improve your credit. That way, once you actually do quit your job, you can actually start to get an increase in your credit limit, and you can start to purchase inventory with your credit card, and it all goes hand in hand. For me, when I first got out of college, my credit was terrible because, of course, student loans is one of the main things that's on everybody's credit limit, those of us that went to school. So my credit it wasn't terrible, but I mean, it was really hard for me to get hard for me to get good credit, a good credit amount, a good credit line, I should say. So I started with like $300 in credit, tried to work my way with that. By the time I started working at a job, I think they boosted me up to about 3,300. So I was just trying to, maneuver with that. And now I have like over 30,000 in credit, to the point where it's like, if I get a good opportunity for sourcing or whatever, opportunities come as long as you're out there, as long as you're putting yourself in a position to win, opportunities will come your way. So now I put myself in an opportunity to where if a big opportunity comes, I can grab that. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you at least have that available credit to the point where you can make big purchases, because going to these thrift stores and flea markets is cool. I love it. I do it every day. But in order to really scale and just, I guess, make more money, make more profit, and make your life easier, I do think it comes a time where you will eventually start wanting to make bigger purchases, bulk purchases and stuff like that. Now, everybody is not going to be into that. Some people just want to, stick to flea markets and stuff like that. And by all means, trust me, I do it every day. So I know this is probably never going to leave me, but I know in terms of building the business, I know that's just a big factor that I wanted to make sure I shared with you guys. So let's go back to the chat, see what people are talking about in here. I don't take a penny out. I reinvest everything. I think that's what people messed up. And I started with $100. Now that is a huge tip. I didn't even put that in my list, but that's a huge tip. The only money that I really take out when it comes to profits from the business is to pay the bills. If I was a very irresponsible person, I would literally be buying a bunch of shoes and a bunch of jackets and a car that I didn't need, just for the sake of me wanting nice things. But I realized that if I really want this business to grow, those are sacrifices you got to make. So in the next 5, maybe 7 years, I might start buying, nicer things just so I can have it, just so I can, experience it. But for now, it's all about building the business. And it's like your child. You know what I mean? You want to see your child grow. You want to see your child do well. So I'm just really trying to focus that energy and that money and just putting it right back into the business. And if you want to be in the business for any real length of time, you got to develop that mindset. You can't try to be in it for a month and then if it's not working, you quit. You got to stick with it until it actually comes to fruition. Let's see who else is making any comments in the chat. I got to scroll up because we got a lot of comments. I got to scroll up. Let's see what's going on. I'm wondering how much computer knowledge do you people have? I understand eBay. It's so difficult. You don't necessarily need a lot of computer knowledge for eBay and Poshmark and just reselling in general. For the most part, eBay is more technical and more difficult. That's why I have like eBay related stuff on my Patreon. But for the most part, if you watch some videos, you just screw around with eBay for a while, you'll figure it out. It might take you longer, but you'll figure it out. It's not that hard. You just got to trust yourself too. You know what I mean? You just got to trust that if you make a mistake, it's okay. Macari is a little like Poshmark, except you can sell toys and other goods. Let's see. RIP Nip. That was a real shout out. I live by it every day. The marathon continues. You guys already know it. Let's see who else is saying anything. I feel like it's conversation happening, so I don't want to just read the conversation piece. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. But let's see. Where do you advertise your Poshmark items? I don't advertise. If anything, I advertise my Poshmark items on YouTube. And just a quick plug as well. I just want to thank everybody that's been making these UGG care kit purchases. In my last video yesterday, I was talking about I got a bunch of UGG cleaning kits, and I got them for like $1 a piece from an outlet sale. and I've basically been selling them for $10 to YouTube subscribers. Basically, if those of you that know that watch your channel, those are the orders I've been getting, and I sold like 15 in the last day and a half. So that's crazy. I definitely didn't think that much people would actually want UGG kits, but I'm glad you guys want it. And if you guys probably just trying to support the channel, I definitely appreciate it, because it's one of those things where you know, you're on YouTube and you're just trying to share the knowledge and share your experience. So when people want to genuinely support the channel in whichever way you can, I definitely appreciate it. So thank you guys for the support. Y'all guys making me feel good, because when I go to the post office, you know, and I'm taking all these packages, I'm feeling good. Not to say that I'm making a ton of money, because you guys know I bought it for $1. You buy it for 10. Poshmark takes their fees. I'm not making a ton of profit here, but I mean, I appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel good. Someone says, Johnny Swag just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my man. Welcome to the channel. Kyle Potter, my problem is finding inventory. I live in competition and there's a lot of competition. I live in Florida and there's a lot of competition. I feel like what people find in a day, it might take me a week. Now, when it comes to these places where there's a lot of competition, I think the number one thing you can do outside of thrift stores and yard sales and stuff like that is to use Google to your advantage. A couple weeks ago, I was staying up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't do this often, but I was just typing in end of season sales. I was typing in clearance sales, and I was just trying to find things that were that websites were selling, like streetwear stores were selling, streetwear websites, and like back to school sales. And I spent like $1,200 just buying shoes. I did an unboxing on like a portion of it. You guys can check that on the channel, but I think I unboxed maybe like 15 pairs, and then another 15 pairs came a few days later. But that's the type of stuff that you got to do, especially if you live somewhere where there's a lot of competition. The good thing is, like I said, that's why it's so important to have available credit. And I'm not going to tell you guys, this is another tip I'm forgetting. When you use your card to make big purchases like I did, the goal is to pay your balance before the month is up. Once it hits your statement, if it hits your statement, cool, but you don't want any balance to carry on. I've had a credit card for like 7 years now, and I've never paid $1 in interest. I'm a firm believer in credit, but I'm a firmer believer in not paying any form of interest. I don't pay them $1. And that's a big reason as to why, like I say, all my money goes right back into the business. When I use the credit card to take advantage of the rewards, have a hold of everything that I can purchase. And thankfully, a lot of the things that I buy sells within 30 days. So I'm able to kind of replenish my credit. I'm able to kind of like, you know, pay off my credit card in like 30 days or less. So that's a big tip I almost forgot to share, but definitely just scour the internet. You got to type in end of season sale, clearance sales. Go to different outlets if you have outlets in your area, even if you got to drive a few hours, you know, but it's even if there's competition, there's always a way. You just got to figure out what's the best way for you to do it. But places like Florida, I know Rally Roots is out there. I know there's a bunch of other resellers out there. So I know the competition is real, but just the fact that there's people doing it at a major level in your state, you know, it's possible. And in Florida, there's a million outlets out there. So I know if I was in Florida, that's probably the game I would be playing. I would be in the outlets, the Nike outlets that's across the country out there, across the state of Florida. I would be driving like a maniac, hitting all these different outlets. So that's an option for you. Let's see. I got to scroll up again. Okay, I'm seeing some questions. The problems I have with I have problems with the management of my store. Someone said, do you use Sellhound? The people from Sellhound actually just contacted me a few weeks ago. I still haven't used it, so I don't know. If I end up doing a video, you'll know they reached out again, but I haven't used Sellhound. But we'll see. Hi, I love your videos. They are very helpful. I'm waiting to see when you sell the Macs you have. I have one desktop and laptop I need to get rid of. Those I need to fix them. I just don't have the time to actually get it fixed. I might just try to sell it as parts. I might try to sell it all together on Craigslist. But I actually have to either sit down and actually take the time to fix those computers that I found. I found one for free in the trash, and I found another one at a thrift store, and I paid $50 for that. So I need to get those fixed in order to flip it, because both of them I could easily get at least like $250 for. So that's the plan for that. I just have to find the time to actually go ahead and do it. Let's see who else is talking in the chat. My man said, "Do you carry weapons to the bins?" That's why I don't even go to the bins. Just the fact that that's a question. Do you shop at the bins? No, I do not shop at the bins. The bins is not for me. It's just like people say it's competitive. I don't like the bins environment. I don't like how competitive people get in this. People rushing and running. That's not my style. So I don't go to the bins. Dom is saying that's why I'm marrying him. Keep dropping credit gems. You already know. Gotta help the people. You gotta grow together. How many do you share your Poshmark closet? I'm only selling on Poshmark. I'm guessing you're saying how many times I share my closet. I share my closet 3 times a day. Sometimes 4 if I'm in a good mood and I got the time. So another big tip that I got for you guys, and this is something that when it comes down to working for yourself and before you quit your job, you have to develop the mindset that working for yourself is not going to be easy. It's not going to be this walk in the park. I know there's people like Gary Vee and he talks this hustle, 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 work hard, work hard. That's a little extreme. But what it is that I do think that you need to develop a work ethic in terms of being comfortable with doing the same things every day, whatever that might be. Whether that's going to the thrift store every day, whether that means listing every day, whether that means taking pictures every day for stuff, just being more comfortable with doing the same thing every day. Repetition is key. Consistency is key. So those are some of the things that I feel like before you quit your job, just know that you're going to have to be doing a lot of the same exact things for the first maybe 4 to 5 months, where every day is going to feel like Groundhog's Day, but you're basically building a foundation. And while you build that foundation, in the next 6 months, you're going to realize you don't do any of those things anymore. You might be on to the next thing that you're trying to grow or improve on, but you've already built that foundation. You've built that work ethic. And it's weird because I tell you guys I go to the thrift store every day, and it's almost like some people will say, "Oh, that's crazy. I could never do that." I love it. And when it comes to thrifting every day, when it comes to sourcing every day, taking pictures every day, listing every day, I try to do all of that every day. The only thing I don't do every day is make videos. But there might come a time where I have more, the availability to do that every day if I was to like hire some help. But like I said, you got to get more comfortable with the idea of being consistent, doing the same thing all the time. And another tip that goes kind of plays along with that is staying healthy. I know a lot of people talk about hustle, 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 work hard, but you can't work hard and hustle and grind every day if you're overweight, if you have health problems, if like these type of things are real. And I'm only speaking from experience. When I first quit my job, I got fat. And I wasn't fat in a long time, but I got fat. And niggas like about 30 pounds overweight. And some of it was just from, being sad and, being stressed out. So you eat more. But I realized that my productivity, in order to get to the level I wanted to be in terms of like feeling successful, I had to get in shape because I knew, just like I said, being consistent, doing the same things every day, by me being overweight, you physically cannot go to the thrift store every day. You physically cannot list every day. You can't stay up when you need to stay up and do what you need to do every day. It's physically impossible. So working hard, developing that work ethic, it goes hand in hand. I know somebody had asked me if I wanted to give them some tips on like how to stay fit and things like that. And I could do that, but I don't think people on this channel would necessarily want to watch me in the gym. Like, I don't think that's like that big of a deal. But in terms of just being healthier and some small steps that we can all like kind of use, when I'm out thrifting and I'm outsourcing at different, outlets or whatever, I don't eat out. I don't stop and get Five Guys or In-N-Out Burger or McDonald's. I always keep a bowl of fruit. I always keep healthy stuff around me. I do intermittent fasting, and I go to the gym at least 5 times a week. Those are small steps that I think kind of help me just put out this level of output. You know what I mean? Like, some people might watch these videos and say, "Yo, how is he doing so much?" But it's because I'm like actively trying to stay in shape. So keep that in mind before you quit your job. If you feel that you're overweight now, you might want to get that gym membership close to the Goodwill, close to the thrift store, close to a route that you're going to be finding yourself on often. And that's what I did. I realized that my Goodwill was here and Gold's Gym was 3 blocks down. And I said, I'm gonna sign up for Gold's. That way, when I go to the thrift store, I have to go to the gym because I already left the house and it's 3 blocks down. So that's what kind of works best for me. Grandma Cheap Sheep with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's see who else is in the chat. Let's see what's going on right now. Oh man, $10. That's what's up, y'all. Thank you very much. My man said, I think we've got closer to 40. Okay, I think y'all are talking about clothing. Any questions in the chat? How many items you list on how many items on Poshmark do you list a day? A day I list about 10 items. Sometimes if I don't make a sale, especially if I don't make any sales on Poshmark, I'm definitely going to be listing upwards, maybe 15 to 20 items a day. And what I do is that sometimes I would take my photos first for Poshmark and then I would list it on eBay. And it's just about, like I said, that consistency, carving out a couple hours a day just to make sure that I get stuff done. And you'd be surprised at how much things you can get done an hour if you literally just dedicate, if you cut out all distractions and dedicate that task for that 1 hour. It's amazing. Like I've taken photos of 50 things in like 3 hours and then listed them slowly throughout the week because I took a bunch of photos at one time and was able to just knock out listings. So that's one good tip I have for you guys. Just really dedicate an hour. Say, okay, I'm going to knock this out, do this task. And then, you might want to stop. You might want to eat a snack. You might want to drink some water, whatever, go to the bathroom, then jump right back on it. But that's definitely a good tip I got for you guys. Another tip is not to, before you quit your job, don't tell people you're going to quit your job. Do not advertise that. Do not make it a big deal. Do not run on social media and announce it. Hey, y'all, I'm quitting my job. Because what you want to do is always protect your energy. You don't want people that has negative experiences with quitting their job or negative experiences with entrepreneurship to put that energy on you. And that's just natural, especially with social media. I'm hardly on Instagram and Facebook because it's just too negative for me. And it's one of those things where, like I said, you got to protect your energy. If you know you hate your current position because it's bringing you stress and anxiety, and you tell your friends, hey, I'm quitting my job, the first thing they're going to say is, so what you going to do? How you going to pay your bills? You think that's smart? But they don't know how you feel every day, going to work, hating that job. They don't know how you feel. Yes, the money is going to be difficult. It might be a difficult experience in the beginning, but that relief that you're going to feel by knowing you don't got to go back to a place that you hate, that's priceless. That's what's priceless right there. So that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to advertise it. You might want to tell a couple people that you in your inner circle that you trust and you know what I got your back. You might want to inform them, but don't tell everybody because everybody's not going to have your best, your best wishes at heart. Some people are going to be like, damn, why did they quit their job? And they might have similar feelings of wanting to quit their job, but they're afraid. So then they put all their negative energy on you. So definitely just protect your energy. You don't want to put that out there. It's just bad. Just don't do that. Let's see. Let's see any questions on here. 10 a day. 84 people are watching it, only 15 likes. Hit the like for a kill. Yeah, that's right, y'all. Hit the like button for your boy. That way YouTube know that we doing something good here. Hit the likes. How many sales a day? What is it? How many sales a day do you get on Poshmark? Well, lately I've been getting a bunch of sales on Poshmark. I'm not gonna lie. When I've been selling these UGG care kits to YouTube viewers, these have been flying off the shelves like crazy. Before I was telling people I was selling these at $10 a piece, I was mainly doing like 3 to 5 Poshmark sales a day. Just about 3 to 5. Sometimes 3 to 5 on YouTube. So just about every day I was going to the post office with about 8 to 10 packages every day. Just about. Some days would be way more. Some days I sold nothing on eBay and on Poshmark. It really just depends. Like I said, lately I've been really listing like crazy. I've been just sourcing heavy. I've been getting really good opportunities because I'm actively leaving the house earlier. I'm trying to do what I can. So I've been getting a lot of good things and I've been listing more. Not only that, I'm getting married next month. So I know that I'm going to be out of town for at least half of September. So I'm really just trying to put in that overtime now. That way, while I'm on vacation and I'm on the honeymoon, I could kick back, relax. I don't have to be stressed about money. I don't have to think about sales because I know I put that work up front. And I think that's super important too. You know, just being dedicated to it. Like I love what I'm doing, but I do know that as much work as you can possibly do, everybody needs a vacation. Everybody needs a break. So I'm not going to be that guy telling y'all hustle, 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 and don't take a break, because then that's ridiculous. That's not even me. But if you ask Dom, she might tell you otherwise. But like I said, taking a break is super important. Oh shit, we got more super chats. Oh shit. Peter Calabro, you are a Patreon subscriber. Thank you so much for the $10, man. I appreciate it. Boss C, keep giving us that good content. Thank you. I didn't even see the super chat. That's what's up. I appreciate y'all. That's amazing. Thank y'all. I appreciate this. That's what's up. Let me go back to the question, see if we got anything. I'm amazed. I'm getting super chats. Thank you. Let's see. Someone says, I agree with you. I only tell a handful of people I resell because people always try to question you and look at the negatives. I'd rather not have to explain myself. Yeah, that's right. You don't want to have to explain yourself to people. Some people, they're not going to get it. They're not going to oftentimes I forget that, you know, we're in this bubble. You know, if you're watching this video now, chances are that you're very heavily into entrepreneurship. You're into reselling. So this is the content that you see often. But to the outside world, the people that's not into this, they see somebody going to the thrift store every day. They see people talking about thrifting all the time. It's like, what are you doing? They don't get it. So it's not for everybody. Traditionally, and you can't blame them, but traditionally everybody is taught in school to go to school, get a good job, hopefully get something with benefits and retire in like 50 years. But for those of us that are interested in reselling or entrepreneurship in general, you know, we want different goals. We have different things in mind. So I've realized that I can't necessarily fault people for having that mindset, that worker's mindset. Just because, you know, that's what they teach us in school. They don't teach us to be business owners or take risks or investing. They don't teach us these type of stuff. So, you know, it's just different. Everybody's I guess path is different. I say that all the time. Everybody's path is different. Why is it good to list when there are no sales, as in made no money today but goes out to spend more money to list? Okay, that's a good question. So when it comes down to if you have slow sales, right? Chances are, if you have slow sales, it could be from a bunch of different stuff, but several different reasons. So I'm not going to go into that. But especially when it comes to eBay likes to see an active store. So even if you're not necessarily listing something brand new, eBay likes to see that you're actively changing listings. You're in your eBay store. You're engaging with customers. You're trying something different. You're changing options. You're configuring different stuff. eBay likes to see that. For me, though, like I said, I go to thrifting every day. I sit on a ton of inventory. So for me, it's easier for me to list every day because I have so much stuff that's sitting that I have to get listed. So I'm listing stuff that I might have picked up 2 weeks ago, but I'm just getting the chance to list it today. So for me, I list it more and more. For those people that, you know, if you're starting out and you, just like you said, why list more if you're not making any money? That can definitely get you in trouble. If you might be sourcing things that just aren't selling. People just might not want it. So why list more things that people don't want? So when you have slow sales, you might have to do some research and just see what are people shopping for. And by doing that type of research, you could watch videos like myself where I do trips to the thrift. You could watch videos of seeing what's sold on eBay, what's sold on Poshmark. That way you're only going to be selling the stuff that people are actively buying. And that's something that I had to learn. I had to realize that even though I thought this phone is dope, no one else might think that. But if the record shows that 50 people bought this phone in the last 3 months, I'm definitely going to buy this now. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of develop that mindset just to kind of grow your business. Okay, let's see. Got a bunch of people telling me congrats. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. True people are so negative. That's a fact. Someone says, I still struggle with pursuing my reselling biz with confidence when relatives know I'm thrifting to resell and condescendingly joke about it. The funny thing is, even my mother was not a fan of this reselling thing. Like, you got to remember, I went to school for years. I have a master's degree in higher education. I went to school for years, and my path was to be working in higher education, one day become a president of a college. So for her, she was like, what are you doing? Like, why did you go to school if this is what you were going to do? You didn't need to go to school for this. And of course, she was an entrepreneur herself, so she know about the struggle and the challenges that come with building a business. So she was like, why would you want that? But for me, it's like, I rather be in charge of my own destiny as opposed to letting somebody tell me what to do on a daily basis. Could y'all imagine me with a supervisor right now? Just this type of talk that we're having. Could you imagine me having a supervisor? Like, it won't work. It just won't work. So of course it took some months until she realized that, okay, this is working. You're doing well. Now she's more receptive to it. But in the beginning, like I said, you can't tell everybody, because even family, they're not gonna understand it. Let's see. It's best sometimes to keep certain things to yourself. Amen. I have a sister that won't even ask me how my business is because she believes success is only when you work for someone else. And that's a shame. That is a shame. For me, what success really is different for everybody. Success might just be, a financial number attached to that, a certain amount of property that you own, cars, whatever. For me, success is knowing that, one, I don't have to worry about money. Like, that's a big part of success for me. But the other part is just knowing that, you're doing something you're passionate about, whatever it may be. If you're passionate about painting and you're able to do that every day, and you don't have to worry about, your living expenses, you're successful, because most people don't get to do what they want to do every day. So that's how I view success. Tell your sister that. She might have a change of heart. I don't know. Let's see. Anyone that needs clothing, DM me. Put a box together, $3 a piece. Do you have a bolo guide on your Patreon? My bolo guide, I have completely stopped working on that. I have completely stopped. I have a bunch of bolos on Patreon now. If there's brands that I never heard of, or first time finding, I always share that with the community on Patreon. But my goal by the end of this year is to put that bolo guide out, because, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like when it comes to this men's clothing, I've put in so much work and so much time and energy into learning brands and keeping up with trends that no one else really knows this much about it. Men's clothing in particular. So I feel like I'm too selfish if I don't put out a guide. And it's not going to be, I'm glad I took my time, because at first I wanted to do a guide that was going to be super expensive and people was probably going to be very upset and not buy it. But I think at this point, it's more so about just putting the guide out, just putting it out there and letting people get access to it, making it super affordable so that everybody could get it. Because a lot of my crowd, my audience on YouTube, a lot of y'all are women that don't shop for men's clothing. So y'all getting a lot of the men's clothing information from me. At least that's what you tell me. So I'm like, at least if I make a bolo guide that you can access while you're in the thrift store with photos and just make it really easy and simple to look through, I think that'll be super, super important. So before the year is up, I got to put that out. And if I don't, I'm saying it on wax today so y'all can hold me accountable, because I definitely got to put that out. Are your sales like triple what you sell on Poshmark? I just don't want to bother with eBay, and I feel like I should. Absolutely bother with eBay. eBay is still the number one platform for me for several different reasons. Number one, because Poshmark buyers are very cheap. So you can put up an item on Poshmark for $150. You're going to get an offer for $20. You better believe you'll get an offer for $20. So for me, it's more so about trying to meet people where they are. That's why a lot of my items on Poshmark are very cheap, like 19, 29, 39. But on eBay, I have more expensive items and I'm not accepting offers on certain stuff. And those are the stuff that's basically replenishing the store, basically keeping the lights on. You know what I mean? For me, eBay is what really pays the bills. Poshmark is what's paid for the wedding, and everything else goes back into the business. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the bigger platform is still eBay, so more buyers are there, and more people are still comfortable with purchasing on eBay. There's still so many people that do not know what Poshmark is. I tell people I sell on eBay and on Poshmark, and the first question is, what's Poshmark? Because people know about eBay, but Poshmark is still too new. So I think if you want to start getting more sales, make more money, at least sell on eBay and Poshmark. Don't sell on everything, but at least eBay and Poshmark. Let's see. 7 months in full time. It's definitely challenging, but I just got to ride it out. That's a fact. And congrats on 7 months. So most people don't make it to 7 months. You got to remember, some people don't have the time, don't have the patience, don't have the fortitude to last 7 months. So within those first 6 months, you might not be making sales. With not even 6 months, within those first 3 months, you might not make enough sales, and then you quit. And in the fourth month, that might have been your best month ever, but you quit too soon. So you didn't even get a chance to experience it. So congrats on that. I'm gonna catch you in the next 5 months, and we're gonna celebrate a year. You're right, Akil. A lot of people are raised old school, which is get a job, work, and that's it. Some people can't see beyond that, working for someone else. That's their definition of success. Akil's Patreon bolos and content are great. I would recommend you guys subscribe. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate you, man. And you just signed up for the Patreon too, so I think you probably going back into like the old content. So I appreciate it. I'm trying to put out more content on Patreon, just as much content as I put out on YouTube. I'm trying to put on Patreon. I'm not trying to, do any type of shortage. I'm trying to just be as creative as possible. And anytime I get a good question, I'm just trying to put that on Patreon, because I know if one person has that question, other people got it too. Hit that like button, y'all. We got 118 people in here. I never had this many people in a live chat before. So hit the like button. Let's see. What's the best day? No, when your hand is open to give, you will always receive. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that quote. What is the best days or time to post on Poshmark? I post daily, but I don't get much attention during the morning. I don't think time is necessarily a big factor with Patreon. I usually list anytime. I might list at 2 in the morning. I might list at 7 in the morning, at 7 a.m. I just think it's about sharing it often so that the right buyer gets a chance to see it. Let's see. Akil, have you ever sold on Mercari? Nope, I have never sold on there. Someone says they love my energy. Thank you very much. Like I said, I go to this gym and I'm about to go at 4 o'clock. Did I get through my list? Before I answer any other questions, did I get through my list? Oh, the last thing that I had on my list was literally don't quit. But I think I just mentioned that as well. The biggest thing with any entrepreneurship or any business for that matter, you literally just can't quit. I remember Nipsey said this in an interview where he was talking about the success he was garnering right before his untimely demise. But he literally was saying he just didn't quit. He was so stubborn that regardless of all the hills and valleys and stuff that was obstacles that was in his way, he literally just didn't quit. And I think that's one of the most important things that any entrepreneur, any reseller, anything, you just can't quit. Too many times we like I said, we were programmed to work for someone else and work a job, and as soon as we get some obstacles thrown in our way, we say, okay, let me go back and try to get a part-time job, or let me go back and get a full-time job. Obstacles came in the way, and I was just like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll just figure it out. And of course, it's not like dramatic stuff that was coming along and jumping in my way. But I knew for a fact that me getting a job was never going to be the answer to any financial problems I had or any problems I had whatsoever. So I knew if business was slow, I had to figure out a way to improve it. but getting a job wasn't an option. So it's literally just some of those things where it's like, just don't quit. Like my man TSR said, he's 7 months in. Just like I was telling him, if he quit at the 4th month, you know what I mean? Just imagine how he would have felt. But now he's almost a year in, and he can say, I've been doing this full time. And it's possible. If I could do it, anybody could do it. The only difference is most people don't want to do it. Let's see. Let me catch up in the chat. How much for the Patreon membership? I got a bunch of different tiers. I got a $5, $10, $15. Those that want a Poshmark Closet review, you pay once $25, and then I got like an online, like one-on-one type of coaching model where it's $100. You could pay for 1 month, you could pay for several months. But most people have been paying in the most people are in that $15 tier where they get the podcast subscription and they get all the videos that I put out. That's where most of the members are. Do you recommend to run any sales, and if so, what kind? When it comes to running sales, this is my opinion on running sales. So I don't do it because running sales, for one, I price my items to sell. So I don't want to price my items to sell where it's most competitive price on the market, and then I drop my price even more. And so for that reason, I don't run sales. But I know it works. People out there, they run sales and they make a ton of money. They have different tactics that they run. But I don't run sales, but it works. So if you want to try it, you definitely do it. I know it works. But for me, for my store and the type of stuff that I sell, it wouldn't make sense for me to do that. Let's see. Do you have a death pile to kill? Hell yeah, I got a death pile. And it's not unbearable. It's not bad, but it's one of them things where it's like every day I'm bringing home new stuff. So if I knock out 20 today and then bring home 10 more stuff, it's like, back in that constant back and forth of adding and subtracting. But it's getting there. Man, honestly, I don't think I ever want to completely go through it because if I go through it, then I'm going to feel like I need more stuff to list. So I feel like I always want to have a certain number of items in my inventory that isn't listed. That way I always have the opportunity to list brand new stuff, because every day I go to the thrift, I don't always find stuff. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I always have inventory. Let's see. When you keep flipping your profit back into your business, sometimes it feels like you have no money, but are left with a bigger inventory. Is this good? Yep, that's exactly what you want. I don't got no money. When it comes to like having cash on hand, it's like at this point that's not very important. That's not important to just say, oh, I got cash. No. If you got the inventory and it's quality inventory, it's just as good as cash, if not better. And if you have credit, if you got a good credit card, and if emergencies come, you can take care of it. But like I said, if you want your business to grow, you got to invest in the business. So you don't want to look rich, but not have a rich business. You know what I mean? So I just put my money back into the business. Let's see. Mr. Thrifty Texas, also in the Patreon, he goes, hello, brother. Do you have to measure and weigh a package even if the buyer pays for shipping on eBay? Yeah, I spoke about that in one of my Patreon videos. I think that was the eBay shipping video. I had spoke about measuring and weighing. The thing with eBay's new system is that if it's bigger than the first class, they want you to measure the size of the box. So usually what I would do is I use priority boxes for mostly everything. So they already have the dimensions on the side of the box, but you have to weigh it too, though. That's also super important. Let's see. Daniel Desimone, 20 years old, quit my job 7 months ago and have done 35K in sales so far for this year. Thanks for all the great content. That's what's up. 20 years old, 35K in sales. That's amazing. Good for you, bro. You do eBay or Poshmark store reviews? Yes, I do. That is available in the Patreon. You pay $25 once, and I'll comb through your Poshmark store, and I give you all the tips I got. And I know it works because everybody else that got it was very thankful for it. Let's see. Thanks for the positivity. Was feeling a little frustrated, even though had 18 on Monday, senior title. I was like, I need a 9 to 5, not for me. Yeah, man, don't do it. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. I want to be an entrepreneur. You can't worry about having money in the short term. You need to invest money into it. That's it. You gotta do it. You gotta invest your money into your business. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to last long in this game, you have to put up your own money and you have to just see it through. You know what I mean? And if you make a mistake along the way, you just learned a new lesson, but you got to keep moving forward and you can't be too concerned about, feeling broke. Because honestly, as long as your bills are paid and your responsibilities are taken care of and you have inventory, you're not broke. Trust me. Being broke is not having any money, not having any inventory, not having your bills paid. Then you're broke. Then you're in trouble. Then you need a favor. That's different. Super impressed that you're able to pay your bills from reselling, especially since you're living in Santa Barbara. I used to live there, and the cost of living there is no joke. You rock. Man, y'all wouldn't believe how expensive it is in Santa Barbara. It is out of control. But with it being as expensive as it is, the perks to that is the fact that when I do go to my Goodwills, you guys see the type of stuff I get. Because people here have so much money, so much wealth, they don't care about donating, a $100 jacket to the Goodwill, brand new with tags. They don't care about that. They'll donate it and they'll feel good because they were, giving back or making a donation. So it's all give or take. It's just like, yes, you pay more rent, you pay for the lifestyle, being right by the beach, you pay more money for these type of stuff, but you also have more opportunities to make more money as well. Because if I was living in, say, Mississippi, where cost of living is really low, and I was trying to start a reselling business, if I went to my Goodwill in Mississippi, trust me, I wouldn't be finding half the stuff I find here. So it's all give or take. My man says, how old are you? I'm 29, player. 29. About to be 30. Dirty 30. How do you find clothes at Goodwill? So far, I'm not lucky with Goodwill for clothing, but okay in hard goods. Maybe it's my area. Yeah, some people, some Goodwills, they watch videos like this. So they know which brands are hot. They know how to price stuff. They do the eBay research. So you can't outsmart them on most clothing items. Hard goods, on the other hand, they're trying to price those a little more, on the cheaper side, because those type of stuff, sometimes it's just harder for them to move it. So you might be able to find a VCR that flips for $120 on Amazon a lot faster than you might be able to find a jacket that sells for $100. So you just gotta, take advantage of your area. Hey, from CO, Colorado in the building. Do you think it's possible for someone to replace a 70, 80K job with reselling used clothing, if not in a great area like yourself? If you're not in a great area like by yourself, if you're not in a great area, you can still do it. Like I said, the funny thing is I don't even sell on Amazon, but I feel like there's a lot of people that do much better just selling on Amazon, and they live in a very, rural city, or, cost of living is low and their thrift stores aren't that great, but they're going to places like Target and Walmart and they're just killing it on Amazon. So it's definitely possible. It's just about the sourcing opportunities you have, how aggressive you are in actually doing the research and making connections with other people. The opportunities are there. I just think for me, since the thrift stores in my area are so good and the garage sales and stuff are so good, I just take advantage of that. But if I was living in a different city, I would have probably just did a different hustle. I would have found a different way to source and try to grow it that way. I might have been doing liquidation. I might have been doing wholesale. I might have been just doing YouTube. Who knows? But I just know there's every city, every state has its own unique opportunities in terms of making money. So you just got to figure out what that is. Let's see. Grandma Cheap, smash the like button now. That's right, y'all. Hit the like button for your boy. My Goodwills are the opposite. The hard goods are priced ridiculously. Yeah, my Goodwill is kind of like that, because I saw a Bose speaker yesterday, and it was $125. And that's probably the most expensive thing I've seen in my Goodwill in a long time, like outside of furniture. But of course, they knew that Bose speaker was expensive, so they just slapped a high price on it. But at the same time, I would see, you know, Lululemon, or I might see whatever hot brand. I'm trying to think, my mind is going blank, but whatever hot brand is selling like crazy, you would see that for $2.50. So it's just like they prioritize what they know. They put a higher price tag on what they know, and what they don't, you just get a deal. Let's see. Akil and Courtney from Common Tags are my latest binge watching channels. Love the content. Shout out to Courtney. She's the truth. I gotta catch up on some of her videos too. She's the truth. I like her content as well. Let's see. Pinto, bro. I don't know what the Pinto is, bro. Hey, wow. Shout out to Courtney. She's in the chat. That's what's up. That's crazy. Hey, Jody, thank you. I didn't even realize she's actually in the chat. So yeah, so it's 4:00 now. We got 124 people in the chat. If there's any questions y'all got, definitely drop that in the comment. I think I definitely got through my entire list here. Seeing that I got this much people in the chat, I'm trying to see if there's anything that I may have forgotten before I head out to the gym. But yeah, the other thing on my list was connect with like-minded people. That was something that we spoke about in the past. But the big thing about making those connections with like-minded people is that even if they're not reselling, if they're just an entrepreneur in something else. I got one of my closest friends, he sells suits back in Buffalo. He sells custom suits for men and women, right? And being around them, seeing how they operate their business, and they have a traditional brick and mortar business. You come in, you get fitted for your suit. They do weddings, all those type of stuff. Seeing people in their in their zone, working with customers, having those conversations with somebody that's constantly trying to scale and grow their business, it's good for your mind. It's just good for your business. You'll take stuff from people that's in a completely different field, and you'll take stuff from them and implement it in your own business. And you would realize that, at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is pretty much all the same. It has very, very common threads all between, regardless of the fields, whether it's real estate, whether it's selling men's fashion. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to have that mindset, that similar mindset. And you're not going to get that mindset from somebody. You're not going to have those type of conversations with someone that's working a traditional 9 to 5. They're not going to believe in that risk. They're not going to be, they might support you, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's not for them. So they're not going to have those same type of feelings. But just connecting with like-minded people. And I tap into my friends all the time. The ones that are in business, I just tap into them and see, hey, how's business? What's something new that you're doing? Oh, I didn't even think of that. Let me try to implement that in my business. And we kind of share ideas back and forth. And I think that's crucial, because I was listening to this podcast yesterday it's called the Producer's Grind podcast, and it was featuring Ryan Leslie. And in that podcast, he was basically talking about because he has this app called Superphone. And basically it's like an app that connects your phone and basically stores a whole bunch of different contacts. It's almost like a new way to store contact information. So if I didn't know you and I had my number posted, you would contact me and you would get a text immediately back. And that text would be like, oh, where do I know you from? What's your occupation? All these type of stuff. So you can kind of organize your contact information a lot smoother. And long story short, what he was saying in that interview was that we don't take advantage of our own network. Chances are, if we have 100 people in our phones, there's probably 3% of those people that we actually connect with on a daily basis, and we talk to and we keep in touch with. And that's a huge part of growing a business, or just scaling a business, or just starting. You never know who is in your immediate circle that can, one, serve as a huge connection to connect you to a wholesaler, a retailer, or your next big source, who could just be a source of motivation for when you feeling down, and you just call this person, and they're always positive, and they can just give you that energy. There's so much different people that you can be using, and they could be using you too, because it got to be a two-way street. But we don't use our connections enough. And that's one thing that had me thinking, because I know I don't call half the people in my phone. If he said 3%, I'm probably like 2%. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's how long I was on this live. My battery just died. But anyway, I'm gonna continue the conversation. I ain't gonna kill y'all with the battery conversation. But like I said, with the 2% of the people that I connect with on a daily basis, and just that's aware of what I'm doing with my business, I'm giving them gems. I got friends that do music. As you guys know, in my videos, I got one of my best friends. He's the intro and the outro for all my videos. I use his music, and I'm watching this Producers Grind podcast, and I'm giving him gems about, what I just learned about this producer's tactics and how to broadcast your music and how to get your stuff on streaming platforms. And I'm not into that field, but because I learned about that in a random interview, I was able to share it with him, and vice versa. So it's super important to just constantly use your network, take advantage of the people that's around you, because you might be using them and they might be using you for completely different reasons. But at the end of the day, it's like you really never know who's going to help you get to that next level for whatever reason, whether it's support, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional. You gotta do what you gotta do. But anyway, see who's in the chat. That's why I love watching a variety of resellers on YouTube. Something to learn from for most people. That's a fact. Just curious, how do you handle your inventory and your bookkeeping? I got a CPA, probably gonna get a new one soon, just because, just cause. But I don't do, like, in terms of bookkeeping, I have a very simple Excel sheet that kind of keeps me on track, lets me know how much I'm spending each month, lets me know my profit margins for the month, stuff like that, just to help with tax time. My inventory system, super basic. I spoke about that on Patreon. I'm actually going to put my inventory, like a behind the scenes, on Patreon, just to show you guys my inventory system. It's big now, but it's still super simple. So look out for that, those of you that's on Patreon. But like I said, stick to the basics when it comes to inventory, bookkeeping. All you need to do is make sure that when it comes time for tax time, it's streamlined to the point where your tax person knows how much you're actually claiming at the end of the year. You might want to do some more in-depth tracking for yourself to know your profit margins and stuff like that. But trust me, at the end of the day, you want to keep things simple. You don't want to buy any, you don't need to buy programs. You don't need to buy QuickBooks and all these type of stuff for this type of business. You don't need it. If you got it, cool. If you want to download it via torrent or whatever, that's cool too. But you definitely don't need it. I just think there's too many people that's trying to get the best and the latest things to do a very simple task. You know what I mean? Something like that. You don't need to do it. Thanks for the top 10 menswear video. I purchased several of the items and they actually sold fast. That's what's up. I'm probably going to do another video soon like that. Probably. I mean, that video still, it was not an evergreen video, but it's still pretty solid. So I don't need to do one again. But I'm glad it worked out for you. Personal question: when is the wedding? The wedding is September 15th. It's about to be lit. It's gonna be in Orange County. What are we doing here? It says watch the video before you quit, but my comments get ignored. I have no support system. It's just me. I try to connect on here, but it's just me. Sorry, I'll stop trying. I haven't seen any of your questions. I'm sorry. But that's the thing. When it comes to this whole reseller community, you could literally reach out to people however you can. I know I'm not on Instagram, so don't reach out there because I'm not going to respond. I'm never on Instagram. But I mean, the comment section is always works. My email is always out there. I got people in the Patreon that I have conversations with regularly. And I think that's why they join the Patreon, so they can actually, have that kind of accountability. And we both keep each other in check. I have people that I've met through YouTube that we bump ideas back and forth all the time. So it's just about putting yourself out there, sending messages. Sometimes it might get ignored, but you tried. For me, I knew it was important for me to hop on YouTube and share the journey, because for one, I know just working these type of jobs where you're at home working all day, it's a lonely type of job. So I knew I wanted to, one, share my journey, and two, just give back. Because I'm one of those type of people that I'm like, I devour information. Like I'm like a sponge. So once I get something, I'm like, I'm learning it, I'm learning. And then I'm like, okay, I know everybody did not do as much research as I did. So let me just help them by kind of knocking out the middleman and just getting straight to the point. That's why my videos are always so short, because I just like get straight to the point, in and out. Let's see. Let's see what else. Congrats on the wedding. Thank you very much. Report Nadia for hate speech. I don't even see who is Nadia. Oh, well, I don't know. Let's see. What are your questions? Oh, my man Kevin, what's going on, bro? How did you do your research? Research literally just means going on to YouTube, doing the research, looking up what's sold, what's selling. Some resellers do a very long form video, and it takes a while before it gets to the point. But I mean, sometimes you got to sit and just wait till they give you those gems and that information. But it takes time. I mean, you literally just got to keep, like I said, it's repetition. You got to keep watching these type of videos, and actively just being out there too. Sometimes you can sit at home and watch as many interviews and podcasts and trip to the thrift videos as you want. Sometimes you just got to be out there and look around, go on your phone, check sold listings, check it on Poshmark, check it on eBay. And that's what I mean by doing the research. The research, it for me, it never stops, because even while I'm listing, I'm still listening to something else. But you just got to try to do what you can do. Let's see, Mr. Thrifty, Texas, man. I appreciate you, family, brothers, that trying to come alive and take over my house. Oh man, I'm not seeing what this. Oh, somebody's actually in the chat. Oh, that's why people were saying I blocked her. Okay. Well, shout out to you for being a loser. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. But anyway, I think that's all I got. If there's any questions, let me see. We got another one. Reverse comp lookups. Just type in a general term like boots and see what's selling. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Literally type in boots and then see, type in the filters and see like what's the highest price. And you could see from there, like in terms of what's sold for the most amount of money. And you can just try to lock in on those brands. Granted, you're going to see a lot of like Versace and Gucci and those type of stuff. But, like she said, reverse engineer and see what's sold, type in a filter and see the highest brand. That's a good tip. I didn't even think of that. That's a really good tip. Let's see. Are you planning on getting employees in the near future? Yes and no. When it comes to employees, not to say that I don't think that'll be very helpful. I do think it would be. And at this stage, part of me is always like battling with the idea, but we'll see. I'll give you guys an update, because I do have some things that I'm like, me and Dom is like working on, but I'll announce that later when the time comes. But at this point right now, nah, not right now. Let's see. It's hard to trust people to hire. That's a fact. It's definitely hard to trust people to hire when it comes to like just trusting somebody with your baby. Like I said, your business is like a baby. So adding people to that family is very, very difficult. But I mean, there are some good people around. I know Rally Roots, they got their assistant, and then he has his brother that's helping. So family can always be an option as well. Not all family. I ain't gonna tell you hire every family member, because that could be difficult as well. But there are good people out there to find good help. I just think, as in any other business, you just can't expect people to work as hard as you would. You know what I mean? Like if you hire somebody, you just know that you can't take your foot off the gas. You still have to go just as hard every day, and they're just they're just helping. They're just adding assistance, but they're never going to put in as much effort or as much concern for your business as you are. So that's always something that you got to keep in mind. Do you use a bot for Poshmark, or you rather keep that disclosed? No, I do not use a bot. I don't even have that much stuff in my closet for me to have a bot. I think people that use a bot, if you got like 1,000 active stuff in your Poshmark closet, you probably should be better off using a bot. But I mean, for me, it doesn't take long. It takes like less than 5 minutes to share everything. So no bot for me. Let's see. How do you organize and store your inventory? Sorry if you already covered that. Yeah, I did cover that, but I just use bins to store my inventory. All my stuff is usually just in bins. Do you have certain schedules you keep, days you list, you source, shipping time? When it comes to basically schedule and time, I was very, very stringent at first. I was trying to be very stringent, like, okay, every day at this time I'm going to go to the dirt, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to list at this time. Then as time went on, I realized that what works for me, and the reason why I started working for myself, was because I like having that like free flow. So what worked best for me was just, one, locking in, like scheduling certain times throughout the day. So say I wake up tomorrow and I feel like listing, I'm going to list for an hour to 2 hours, and I'm going to just dedicate that time just for that. I'm not going to do anything else. And when that time period is up, then I'll move on to something else. And by the time 3-4 o'clock rolls around, it's time for me to go to the gym. It's time for me to do those type of things. It's 4:16 as I'm saying it's time to go to the gym. But I mean, we are interacting, so I'm gonna keep it going for a little bit. But it really does. You really do have to you have to like just be really stringent with your time. But in terms of scheduling things out, that's not necessarily what works for me. But other people, I'm sure it does. Let's see. Do you know the queen of auctions who lives in Ventura? She sells on eBay and has her own store in Ventura. Big time seller. No, I do not know her, but she sounds like she got her business going on. Queen of auctions. That's a dope name. What type of store is it that what is she selling? Because that's a big deal. Because Ventura is not too far from me. Let's see. Yay, I'm so excited. I caught this. I bought some leather cleaner from you today. Thank you very much. I'm actually going to be taking those stuff to the post office very soon. We're about to drop that off in a few minutes. Actually, I'm about to hop off of live very soon so I can take these stuff to the post office. But I think that's all we got for today. Is your fiance self-employed as well? No, she's not self-employed, not yet. Coming soon. All right, y'all. So that's all I got for today's video. Definitely I appreciate everybody that was in the chat. All of you that hit the like button. All of you that sent any questions. Definitely appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's dropped those super chats as well. That was definitely a nice surprise. So thank you for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna try to drop a video every day this week. So hold me accountable on that as well. All right, y'all. Peace.